I'm pretty sure my Pokemon are like fully healed, maybe apart from that one move use, but I'm the kind of person that's always going to, well, gosh darn it. Always gonna feel best stopping by a Pokemon Center anyway. So we're not even halfway to the 10,000. We've got plenty of steps. And just to recap, our planned course of action from here is Celestic Town, Gym 5 in Hearthome, and then we're gonna try to sequence break to Sunny Shore. That's the plan. That's what we're trying here. But yeah, and Pokerade glad they continuously shake the grass, the only quality of life change you can remember off the top of your head. Now that I think about it, that was like one of the features that I never showcased in my Platinum playthrough, did I? Because I guess I wasn't really that interested in it, I guess. We showcased like almost everything the game really had to offer. Well, for a large part, at least, for our Pokemon Platinum playthrough, for that freaking 100-episode series. But I don't think we ever really used the Pokerade. We can put that way, we've still got plenty of steps. Why did Torterra only spawn when I interact with the Psyduck? Psyduck are standing firm. They are inclined to move at all. Would you like to use the secret medicine? weren't we joking in the Pokemon Platinum playthrough about giving them weed here? Psyduck appear to be cured of their chronic headaches. Whoa, that's far out, dude. Whoa. Oh my goodness, all that played, they could have literally just played one exclamation point sound, but they had to play 4 for each, of course. Nice. Perfect fleshed out game. Oh good, you used the weed I gave you. Psyduck are known to suffer from chronic headaches. Every time this game zooms in like this, I very much feel like this was a game very much meant and designed to be experienced from that far top-down camera angle, and not, you know, what my freaking character model looks like what a cat would do when you put clothes on them and they just go all stiff and like, you know, refuse to move much at all, is what my character looks like right now. Psyduck are known to suffer from chronic headaches, but no one's been able to figure out what triggers the headaches. From what we've experienced thus far, let me just say I've got a little bit of an idea. Oh yes, can I ask you a big favor? I want you to deliver this old charm to my grandma in Celestic Town. I know there are some rare Pokemon between here and Celestic Town, so it'll be worth your while to go. Oh, I know I'm asking a big favor of you, but I really want you to do it. Will you go to Celestic Town for me? Fine. Here's the old charm. But yeah, and word, because the eShop page for this game says there are in-game purchases and you're going to have to pay for events and stuff. Yeah, let's hope that there's not that. Hey, at least you can get Shaman legitimately right now. I think people have discovered it for Darkrai as well, but don't quote me on that. If we sequence break to Sunny Shore, we might just be able to get Shaman. Like, just straight up. from what I've seen, interestingly enough. My grandma has this sort of bossy air about her. I think you'll recognize her right away. Yes, I'm sure you will. She's the elder of Celestic Town. As for the location, look on your town map. You can't miss it. Okay, I'm counting on you. I'll see you again down the road. Oh, that's probably a pretty solid prediction there. That, like, what if the Azure Flute for this game would be, like, tied to purchasing Legends Arceus? Kind of like how if you have a save data, you know, of freaking Sword and Shield or Let's Go, you get, like, a Mew or Jirachi and whatnot in this game. Like, maybe the Azure Flute would be tied to that. Yeah, I've heard about people doing the mods and whatnot already, which is fascinating. Like, double your level. This is insane. This is a person, right? Yeah, so I can battle you and get the experience I clearly need. Well, the Ninja Trio being discovered means I must battle. Ever seen one of those memes that, like, compared one of the... No, it was like the Oraz Ninja Kid. Someone compared the design of, like, the Oraz Ninja Kid to freaking Fire Emblem Fates Saizo, where it's, like, a very similar design. So there was, like, some Fire Emblem Fates meme that was like, wow, puberty hits Saizo like a truck. And it freaking cracked me up. Yeah, these Dudos are a bit of a different design. But yeah, to get a good game instead of just paying for an event, please let you be right. Yeah, I'm worried about Legends Arceus. Like, it has the potential to be so good, but I am really worried about it. Like, because I had a discussion during one of the early episodes of this series where I talked about how games will often have what's called vertical slices, where it's like, let's say this is your entire game, But this section here is basically done, like in a state that's pretty close to the final product. This section here is basically done. When you reveal a game in something like trailers, you typically do it in your vertical slices, the sections that are like very close at least to what the final product is going to be looking like, you know? That doesn't mean, like, of course you're still gonna have like all these sections that are like completely not done yet and still need a lot of work, but you know, you're at a good point in development when you have these vertical slices, these sections of your game that you can show off in something like a trailer. The fact that Legends Arceus was revealed in a state where the wild Pokemon FPS was like next to nothing, and the starters models look like they were taken out of like Gmod or VR chat. Like, the fact that the game was revealed in a state where like the general look of the game doesn't even seem to be fully there is concerning. Is very concerning. Like, when we had this discussion during one of the earlier parts, it was in reference to this game where I expressed the same kind of concerns. Concerns that if you don't have these vertical slices at the ready, and you freaking, like in the case of this game, if you're revealing your game in a trailer and you're not even quite sure what it looks like yet, and you're setting the release date from there like freaking 8 months out, and then that makes me really, really worried that the game is going to be rushed. And lo and behold, my fears were kind of confirmed when the game shipped without its title screen, opening cinematic, soundtrack, closing cinematic, credits, or post game. Supposedly, I need to get there and test it for myself. Then it seems like I feel like I was right in terms of the feeling like it was rushed department, you know. So I'm very, very concerned about that for Legends Arceus, as well as like the whole weird thing with the models and whatnot. With like, hold on, let's just see here. I'll catch up on things here. But yeah, apparently Legends Arceus said, come on, it's a Final Fantasy X's battle system, so you're intrigued for that. Final Fantasy X's battle system, what? But yeah, tune in to you tell me what's up, because if you're truly honest here, can't be critical of Pokemon games because you're shillless, see all the issues and problems, but then go, Pokemon go burr. I feel like at the end of the day, like, this is, like, I feel like my final review of this game is most likely going to be something like, this is still like a pretty good game at the end of the day, and solid, and can be an enjoyable time. It just doesn't warrant, you know, something new over, you know, the originals. Like, doesn't have enough new to set itself apart, is what it feels like. Like, I completely understand why people have been, like, as into this as they have been. Wow, Chansey! Should I take you out? Because you would probably give, like, a lot of experience. Probably doesn't matter too much. But yeah, to be honest, you're glad Legends Arceus is not open world? Yeah, it's like the weird semi-open world. Look how much higher level I am, Jeebus. Yeah, more Monster Hunter style game from what you've seen her. It's like there's, like, sections of the, that you can go to. Like, different, I don't know, not levels, but like areas, I guess. I'm getting fed up. I'm getting fed good, except for having to reset. It's pretty bad to reset. Like, I've heard that this game is like good for, you know, resetting for the starters, but, you know, it is like 2 minutes each time you want to reset, which is kind of crazy. Ninja Boy Bruce, wow. Wow. Anyway. It's bad for starters. Yeah, I've heard mixed things. Like, having like a 2-minute reset time, like, between attempts sounds bad in my head, but I've heard people saying that this game's great for resetting for starters, which it doesn't make sense to me, but that's what I've heard people say. 5 hours for you was 100 resets. You spent 5 hours trying to get the starter? I can't believe this. I can't believe you've done this. Anyway, my biggest concern with Legends Arceus is honestly like the weird situation they have going on with the models. So, like when Pokemon was in 2D, like they had their spriters team that was able to throw together these like charming 2D sprites that were able to, you know, serve them well for a really long time. It was with X and Y when that rolled around that they got Creatures Inc. I believe it was Creatures Inc. mostly that did like almost all of the models for them. And these models were considered like future-proof because these models will be used in subsequent games. These models and animations. So like all the models that you see here today are still like the same models that were made like in the span of like probably 2010 to 2013 when they were probably made. So like a decade ago when the models were first made. Because X and Y released in like 2013. So I'd I'd say that it's probably a fair assumption to assume the 3D models were in development somewhere from 2010 to 2013. That's probably a pretty fair assumption, right? Probably. I don't know. But they've been using like the same 3D models since then. It was a lot easier to be reusing sprites. There's a lot more work that has to go into 3D models, which is why they had the mentality of let's continue to use like our models and you know, animations down the line, which works to an extent, but you know, sometimes like people start to find that like a bit jarring enough time goes by. Like I'm still mostly pretty fine with like a lot of the 3D models that are in these games and whatnot, but I can understand where people take issue in you know, having seen the exact same 3D models for nearly the past decade now. But apparently, like, there hasn't really been any time taken to like redo the 3D models, which would be something really fascinating to see. Like, what new direction might they take, like redoing the 3D models, like the sprites used to be redone. But after Sword and Shield, the company that actually made the 3D models for Game Freak or the Pokémon Company or Nintendo or whoever, all these groups essentially, Creatures Inc., they were actually removed from the page of like the partners with Game Freak or the partners with the Pokémon Company or whatever it was. The official page that listed their partners. Sometime after Sword and Shield and its negative reception, they were just straight up removed as one of the partners. And there was never like any official statement on it. So ever since then, nobody has really known if like after the negative reception of Sword and Shield, for a lot of people at least, like it was probably still mostly positive reviews from a lot of people. But after a lot of people really criticized the graphics, a lot of people wonder if like maybe Creatures Inc. was like kicked off of the project, or kicked off of being able to help with Pokemon at all. Or if they still are, but they're just not listed on like the partners page, or what's going on. Like it's been like radio silence ever since this happened in 2019, that they were removed as like a partner. And I have no idea if like the story has developed at all, or if you know, Pokemon has anybody there that are able to like redo their models. So because of that, like if it wasn't set in stone before for them to continue reusing models, it especially is now after their group that was making their models was potentially kicked off like that. So in the trailers for Legends Arceus, come on! Why did they bring back random encounters? This is so annoying. Oh my goodness. So, you know, the Pokemon Company might be in a state where they might not have anybody willing to, anybody on their team right now willing to redo 3D models for them. And it might not be even in their interest to, you know, seek out some new company to redo 3D models for them. So we see in trailers for things like Legends Arceus the exact same models and animations that we've seen in, you know, every other game. Like freaking, I saw the first Chimchar animation in this game, and the first thing, and with the head bobbing like that, and the first thing I thought of was the first Legends Arceus trailer with the same Chimchar doing the head bobbing back and forth, except with super low FPS in that case. But because these models are really old and whatnot, my biggest concern with Legends of Arceus is that it's going to feel like an amalgamation of too many different art styles and people doing different things, is the concern. Like, when I was in my game design class where we were making a short indie video game, where you can still find it on my channel, technically, if you just, like, search up Morgan. I never want to share the game itself, though, because I'm not exactly happy with how it turned out, but you can still find the development of it. It was called Morgan. In this class, one of the really cool opportunities that we had was to have a tour and lecture in this studio called Improbable. I mentioned Improbable earlier this stream when I was talking about local game studios, where I don't know if it counts as AAA or not. It's definitely like, you know, a medium larger studio, I guess. They're based in like a few places. They have like, I believe they started like somewhere in Britain, and they opened up one of their studios here in Edmonton, and then they have like one more studio somewhere else. Nobody knows Improbable as a company yet, because they're only working on their first game right now. I think one of the other studios put out the game that they were working on already, but I know for sure that the game that they're working on here is not like officially revealed yet by any means. But we got to, as a class, come in there and you know, see a bit of what they were developing, and we got a lecture there about like the game development kind of process. And one of the really interesting things that was brought up during the lecture there was like, when you have like a project that you need to do, a game of some sort, and you have like X amount of budget, it can be a bit of a puzzle, like determining how you're going to use that. Like, let's say you're making a game and one of the things that you need are trees. How are you going to get those trees to be made? Are you going to get some of your staff in-house to make those trees? Are you going to outsource it to some 3D modeling company on the other side of the world that can just make these trees for you? Are you going to, is this one guy going to come with like a job application that's willing to do contract work, and he's like, hey, I'm willing to work for like cheaper than your regular staff to do some contract work because I'm just really passionate about making trees, and you hire that guy? Or do you find like some resource online where you can like, you know, maybe source some trees from in some way? Like, what do you do here? So, oh my good gracious, where do you get defog from? Oh, no. 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 Ah! Crap. Crap. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl defog. Crap. I'll continue this in a hot second. Defog location. Here's a YouTube video. Where do they go? Pastoria City. They go into the... Oh, is it someone in the... It's in the freaking Safari Zone. Gosh diggity darn it. Apparently you get it from someone in the Safari Zone. We have enough steps that we can afford to make this extra trip. Like, we have plenty of freaking steps. What? Did I select cut by accident? At least you don't have to, like, waste HMs to, use these HM thingamabobs, but it is a little bit of a pain navigating to it on your watch and trying to select the right thing to use the specific HM for things like fly, honestly. I will switch back to the step thingamabob is what I will do, though. Anyway, so you have all these different parts that need to be done for a game that can all be done in like different ways, and you have to really decide what you can use a town map to fly instead of that. Would actually make a very big difference, and I really appreciate you telling me that. I'll do that from now on. But yeah, so when you have like, especially for like bigger game projects, when you have all these moving parts, it whoa, I have a decent amount to poke in now, don't I? There's a lot of parts that go into it, and you know, it can be a bit of a puzzle deciding like what you want to do in what way and how you want to use your resources. Like, what do you do with your in-house team? What do you get some other group to do? What do you get done with like someone that comes in to do like some contract work for like this one specific thing? You choose TMs with defog, yada yada. So because of that, especially for bigger projects, you can find yourself having like a lot of different people working on a lot of different aspects of your game. I don't care about the Safari Zone this time. So to tie this all together, what my biggest concern with Legends Arceus is when I look at the trailers for that game, it so far feels like it's made by a lot of different people all doing completely different things, and that seems to be like reflected in a way. Like, you can tell that the models are still like the old models that they've been using since X and Y that Creatures Inc. made like, you know, like a decade ago. So that's who the Pokemon models were made by. It feels like the character models were, like the actual human models, were made by someone else, like probably Game Freak or something like that. And it feels like the environment was made by another different group. Like, all these different things on their own look alrighty, but like together just don't quite seem to match, because it feels like from what I've seen in the trailers of that game so far, it feels like there wasn't quite the right level of coordination to make everybody's art styles like match with one another. Like, so on their own, each of these things look pretty alrighty. Like, the old models could definitely use some sprucing up. But for the most part, all of these individual aspects to like the world being built look pretty alrighty on their own. But together, just kind of feel like they don't quite belong. Like, they're almost from different games in a way, is what I can't help but get the impression of when I look at the trailers of Legends Arceus. So like, Legends Arceus has the potential to be an absolutely incredible game, but if it isn't, my number one prediction for why it couldn't be is I worry that like too many people doing all kinds of different things will get in the way of it potentially being able to, you know, become the best game it can be, you know? That's what I'm worried about. Let's see here. Let's see this freaking thingamabob. So that's my impression of Legends Arceus here so far, essentially. Is what it is. Like, it could be absolutely incredible, but I'm just worried that that both a design by committee kind of stance and just like everybody handling things in like completely different ways without enough communication between them might potentially get in the way of what kind of a game it could be. That's my biggest concern. Like, hopefully they're able... You don't battle or something like that? Okay, well, I guess it was just that then. That's my biggest concern. Like, maybe everything will be just fine. Time will tell. But, you know, like, from what I've seen thus far, it seems like there's at least a decent chance of that being the case. And it makes me really worried. But yeah, let's just see here. Love the fact that besides the flying HMs, it's always B-do for B-barrel for HMs. That's one way to kind of stay true to the original in a roundabout way. What the hell is this mist? And why is it here? But yeah. And the Route 209 tower, that strength, what? What? Yeah, what now? Alright, let's go ahead and use fly. So yeah, that's the way it stands with Legends Arceus right now. I believe. That's how it is. Maybe it could be really, really good, but there's a chance that, you know, everybody doing things so vastly different and all these different styles conflicting with each other might potentially dampen things. We'll see. But yeah, tipping for real, have a good stream. Alright, once again, appreciate the host from way earlier, Mika Plays. Hope you have a good rest of the night and whatnot. Have wonderful dreams of this tortilla coming out and using Earthquake on this Slurpee. Dumbass, I think of Platinum. You get a strength at the Route 209 tower, not defog. Oh, I never went into that tower, did I? I forgot about it, didn't I? Oh, crud. So I haven't even been battling, like, every trainer along the way. I'm still as overleveled as I am. I missed that entire tower's worth of trainers. Wow. Okay. Okay, then. I remember we did that tower, like, around the same time that we did Celestia Town in the Pokemon Platinum playthrough. I'm just now realizing that we forgot completely about that tower. Wow. That's certainly something else. We have more than enough steps to be able to, do it even before the sequence break, but at this point, it's like, what even am I doing anymore? Maybe we'll do it before the sequence break, because I think it'd be fun to challenge the, like, Vulcaner. I think that'd be really fun. Malus is higher level than Fantina's Miss Magius. Nice. Very, very nice. Well, that's certainly something. Golbat. I love how Golbat's mouth is just like the size that it could just freaking devour its trainer in one fell swoop. If Golbat decides he doesn't like the kid one day, like, I'm just now noticing how large and in charge Golbat's mouth is. Where if it just turned around and felt like it wanted a snack, if I was that kid, I don't know if I feel too safe with a Golbat around. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. What are these thoughts that pop into my head sometimes?